Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This beautiful gentleman over here is Tim, and you have found Second Legacy, and thank you so much for stopping by. Today, we are going to talk about something and show you some clips of the most amazing order where leftists who prior believed that gun control is the way and you shouldn't have Second Amendment rights because it is an archaic idea. Well, they kind of self-own to the highest order, and I cannot wait to show you these. And as a little bonus, Tim hasn't seen them yet, so I'm pretty amped. Now, if you guys are enjoying this content, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn the notification bell on. We need as many people as we can to get in here with us to help the channel grow, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. We're going to say a quick word from our sponsor who made this possible, Bullet Safe, and then we are going to hit it. Now, the vest you're seeing me wear is from Bullet Safe, and they've sponsored these videos. Bullet Safe is on a mission to be the #1 provider for safety equipment such as this for not only the civilian, but also the security market. Now, the VP3 that I'm wearing comes in at $299.97, which makes it completely affordable and provides up to or better than Kevlar protection. This thing is NIJ level 3 tested. You are talking about up to 44 Magnum stopping on this bad boy. They've made it concealable, discreet, comfortable, and breathable. It's modular and upgradable, and in comparison to previous models, it's 50% thinner and 25% lighter. As you can see, I'm wearing it in the filming of this spot, and it is not even adding to any of my dexterity whatsoever. This is something very concealable, and if you're in the market, this might be something just for you, and thank you to Bullet Safe for making this content possible. All right, so thank you so much to Bullet Safe for making this content possible. Before we get into anything good, Tim, how are you doing? Did you have a restful weekend?
I did. Yeah, I did some charity stuff and then spent Monday with the family cooking out, doing, the Memorial Day weekend stuff.
Yeah, memorializing, doing all the things we should. That's right.
Remembrance, reverence, all that stuff. Yep.
All the good things. All the good things. That's exactly right. That's the way it should be in this amazing country. All right. Well, I got to set this up, Tim. So you haven't seen this yet, and you guys make sure you leave comments below what you think of this because this is going to get some of you in an amazing way. So what we're about to show you is some clips from a show on YouTube, which is a left progressive show called The Young Turks. I mean, we're talking way left. Like, Lenin is like too far right for these guys. Anyway, so what we're about to show you is something that they are talking about, the debt ceiling. Okay, so that invokes the 14th Amendment in their mind. Now, keep in mind some backstory here. They are firmly against the Second Amendment. They don't believe you should have Second Amendment rights. However, when they start going on their own little tangents, it really is great to see them undermine it. So, without much more ado, Tim, I hope you enjoy this. Mr. Producer, could you play number 1? And we are going to hit it.
He could go on TV and read the 14th Amendment to people, okay? And then I would add something that's super obnoxious, which only I would do. But here, I'll read the 14th Amendment for you guys. Quote, the validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law shall not be questioned. Where's the complicated part? I mean, there's literally a very specific amendment that tells you that our debt shall not be questioned, that it must be paid.
Yeah.
So the part that I would do, Biden hasn't even said that. What? Do a press conference, put a giant board up with the quote from the 14th Amendment, read it, and then ask them, do you have trouble with the English language?
Please, I'm not even going to, just go. I'm so excited.
I don't know what this has to do with the Second Amendment, but don't question the debt. Just pay it. Well, how about racking it up? Is that protected by the 14th Amendment? Does the 14th Amendment say just max out those credit cards, America? Mm-hmm. Just do it. We don't need to cap spending. We don't need to do any of that. Just take it and spend it. We can always print more. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, I get it. We should pay our debts. I think the argument is we're racking debt up at such a dizzying pace that my children probably won't know the true value of a dollar because it'll be absolutely worthless like Venezuela. They'll be selling
of course.
It'll be more valuable as a collector's item than it is as currency.
You are correct. That's from the financial aspect of what they're talking about, the 14th Amendment. But did the verbiage sound familiar and maybe conflicting with, I don't know, something that they say around the Second Amendment?
Oh yeah, I mean, but this is true with anti-gunners across the board, right? They have a very, very literal interpretation of constitutional rights when it applies to whatever it is they want to do. But when it's something that they don't want, well, then it's a little bit more loosey-goosey, and we don't really honor that amendment. We just like this one. So we just kind of pick and choose what we want to, respect and honor and uphold.
Exactly.
And that's just so typical. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And so like the reason that I'm bringing this in is because the very specific language and the arrogance and the condescension that comes out when you're talking about the 14th Amendment, specifically the words shall not be questioned. Well, that sounds a whole lot like shall not be infringed. Yeah. What's so hard to understand about that? It's clear English. Why can't you understand what it's saying? What's the problem? Let's put it on a big board right here that says 14th Amendment shall not be questioned. Hey,
so true.
Tim.
Yeah, that totally went right over my head because I'm literally listening to what they're saying, having not had this conversation with you yet, and thinking, okay, we're talking about the debt ceiling? Whoa, I get it. No, man. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's so
we landed this plane. We landed it. We just bashed through that door. So that's really the premise. That's just one clip because we've got a second one and it follows up. But something that, I know. But now that we've set the table really good and solid, right? So if you take that 14th Amendment out and you put Second Amendment in, you would think a leftist would be talking about Second Amendment rights because it's clear as crystal. Why can't you understand the English language? It's right there, shall not be questioned, shall not be infringed, but that's not quite what we're talking about. But again, something that Tim said, and this is why this is important. When you're looking at the left and you're talking about their sacred cows and their pillars, they can have conflicting arguments because they cannot stand together. It's not a pyramid where they all work together in one system with a guiding theme. It's all individual columns, and each one has been focus group tested, and they're going to keep going on these roads. It doesn't matter if they conflict. You can go down multiple examples. In this case, you've got the 14th Amendment and debt relief versus the Second Amendment and Second Amendment rights. It doesn't matter. You can say the exact same language. They're still going to say, well, it's over here for sure, but not over here, even though it's almost the exact same thing. But enough of the setup, because now we're going to follow this up because he goes one step further. Mr. Producer, could you hit number 2 for me?
I'm using the 14th Amendment. This is exactly what it was for. So, sad day for you. We're moving on. Oh, by the way, Republicans, and now here's the jank part. Here, I brought a cup so you could fill it with tears. That we have the 14th Amendment. I know you hate it, but we do have it. And by the way, I'm introducing a law to help Republicans read the English language, because apparently they're not very good at it. And I would do a real bill and I would introduce it.
Well, so he just doubled down on stupid, didn't
he? Yes. So could you just imagine? Let's just go into the amazing wonder world of wherever we are. So imagine if a Second Amendment advocate got up and said, Hey, lefties, I know you don't like this, so here's a cup to fill your liberal tears because we know you don't like it, but we have it. It's an amendment, so we're moving on. Could you imagine what the reaction would be?
Oh, I know.
Oh, my God.
The hypocrisy with them is just outrageous, though. I mean, this is not uncommon. I get on Twitter and argue with anti-gunners all the time. Some of my favorite,
fantastic
sparring partners, if you will, who never respond, Davey Hogg and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of them out there. But you can always point out their hypocrisy because every post they make, it's just oozing hypocrisy. Mm-hmm. And they never respond to it. They just pretend like you don't exist because they don't want to have the argument, because they can't have the argument. If you got this goon cornered and had this conversation with them, it's like, okay, that's an interesting take on the 14th Amendment. Let's read the Second Amendment together, shall we?
What are your thoughts?
He would go off in every direction other than addressing what you're trying to discuss with him. He would call you names. He'd call you whatever phobic thing he could think of, racist, misogynist, just throw every ist at you he could come up with, trying to deflect so he doesn't have to acknowledge his own hypocrisy. I mean, that's just the way they argue.
No, 100% correct. And I will save this clip forever, and we'll bring it in at random times. I'm really excited about the future because there's so much application for this. But that's the whole point in a nutshell. And that's why I wanted to start off Tuesday with this one. Because when you're looking at raw hypocrisy, that is the most powerful example of what they are doing to fight something like this. Because you can look at it right here. He literally just went down the road when talking about the debt relief and the debt ceiling, and Biden basically superimposing his will over the Congress, which is another thing. But when you're talking about this level of hypocrisy, but you can't even see and be self-aware enough to understand that the Second Amendment and the 14th Amendment are almost the same application. They're just different numbers, but the second one's before it. I mean, it's mind-boggling how silly. It's like arguing with a wall sometimes. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm just being like, how can anyone look at what we just showed you and go, oh yeah, they got a point on the Second Amendment, but then they also don't have a point on the 14th? I mean, like, it doesn't make sense on any level. How do they do this?
It's because they have an audience of roughly half the population that'll go, yeah, makes sense. I mean,
it hurts.
Yeah. And these people vote. That's what's scary, right? That's how we wind up with complete dullards in office. It just, I don't know. It's crazy. And it gets worse. It's not like people are, you would think with, all the modern tools we have and everything that we have to assist us in our knowledge growth, right? Mm-hmm. And intelligence seems to expand as we go on. But does it really? Because it seems like with every advancement we come up with and the more we evolve as a society, we're actually devolving. And it's just crazy, man. I don't understand how people can make these arguments because they don't hold water. And it's not even like, well, you could argue, no, this is cut and dry. I mean, this guy is
really
making moronic statements, and he's clearly looking at two different amendments through two different prisms, right? Second Amendment, bad, must go away. Doesn't matter that's written. We're just going to ignore that one. 14th Amendment, because we're talking about that because my president that I support, I don't, he does.
Right.
He wants to, just basically strong-arm Congress and get his way, so we're going to support him. We're going to cite the 14th Amendment. We're going to absolutely read it the exact way it's written and cry into this cup if you don't like it. But the Second Amendment, yeah, we got to rewrite that one because that's bad, man.
Yeah, because that one's bad. Because common sense gun safety. And also, by the way, you can't say feel liberal tears because that's mean, and you're a mean Republican. But I can do it because you. It's like
we got to come up with an ist for that one, like a tearist or something like that, right?
Yeah, I just go with the word communist. It's easy. There's already an ist.
Yeah.
Marxist, communist, socialist. Yeah, there's already lots of ist for it.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's so mind-boggling when you look at this and think these are the people that are actually advocating and articulating arguments to take your Second Amendment rights across the entire nation. This is what you're facing. That's on one level. On the other level, I go, this is what you're facing. Let's beat this. This is easy. I mean, like, it doesn't get any more clean cut than that. That is, like, egregiously bad.
I would agree. But you can expect that from the Young Turks. I've seen them before, and they're just all over the place. They've been all over the place a lot lately. There's other things completely unrelated to the Second Amendment I've seen them talking about where they've completely flip-flopped on issues because it's convenient for them, which is the typical method of arguing for their type. Anyway.
And by the way, when he says type, he means those ists we talked about: communist, socialist,
Marxist, socialists. Yeah.
ist. You know what? We should make either a T-shirt or a mug that's something like that, where it's just like all
don't
the
be an
ist. Don't be an ist. Why you got to be an ist?
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to be part of our call-in show, there will be a link in the video description below. Follow that link, fill out the information. We'll contact you. We'll get you on the show. You can ask your question, make a statement. We'll have a great conversation around the Second Amendment. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon.